everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald, bringing you a reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for 2026. And the card that comes up out of the traditional Rider-Waite deck is the Five of Wands. So definitely feeling as though the word that's coming up for you, Sag, is release for this year, okay? I think that this is going to be a year where you begin the year having these deep insights and feeling as though things must really change. I think that you're going to start to see that you're experiencing a lot more hiccups. And I think that some of these obstacles you come across really stem from some of the indecision that you're handling. And I think that this is about making that choice to consciously want to move forward. I think that you're surrounding yourself in environments where people constantly test your boundaries if they're constantly running over you, right? And running over your boundaries. I get the sense that there's like a stampede and the bull just kind of runs you over, right? And it leaves you feeling as though you are insignificant, right? And that really just contributes more to some of the self-worth issues that you experience. And I think you carry these wounds with you, and as a result of that, it starts to define those external circumstances, right? In other words, your energy portrays that you don't feel as though you are worthy of something better, and so you are perpetuating that cycle of creating situations in which you don't feel worthy, okay? And so I think that this defining moment here is where you start to feel some of those wounds and conflicts that from the past that you're kind of carrying with you, right? So things happen, there's ego clashes, you can get defensive because you're triggered, and then ultimately it makes the self-worth worse, feeling as though you're not worthy. It makes that situation worse, and so then you can feel stuck, really, right? And so you've got to be able to get out of your own way in order for this to change, right? And I get the ludicrous song, right? Like, move, get out the way. I won't say that word, but it's really about allowing yourself to realize that these wounds from the past, they don't define you, right? So when you start to get triggered and you start to move differently, things will start to show up differently for you in your life, right? And so removing yourself from a situation, removing yourself from people that feel draining, that feel as though they are trying to hold you back on purpose. But that isn't necessarily the case. What's happening is they're just responding to you and your energy, right? And so for every action, there is a reaction. And so this is really a need here for you to release the ideologies that are holding you back. So if you're feeling as though you don't deserve something, or if you're feeling as though something can't happen for you, you're probably not going to change the situation, right? And I think that when you are feeling that way, or when you are categorically speaking that way, right? Like, I can't or I won't, then it perpetuates that cycle. And then you've become a little bit numb to it, right? Like, you've just kind of accepted that this is the way things are, but that isn't true, right? We have to start to be able to challenge those thoughts and ideas. And I think with this, it's where you start to realize that you're feeling those emotions from the past in those moments. That isn't necessarily who you are at your core today. You really have learned from those experiences. So how can you put that learning into action then going forward, right? You could sit in a space where you're feeling like, you know what, this can't be happening. This isn't real. There's like this shock and disbelief. Well, that's because it's not real, right? Our ego kind of distorts things as we process things that have happened through those wounds of the past. But again, those wounds do not define you, right? And so there is this untapped potential within you to start to move differently and create differently and to challenge some of those beliefs. And so I feel as though once you start to begin to challenge some of those thoughts and start to practice some self-compassion, I think that some of these obstacles will have no choice but to fall away. I think that divinely they will be removed, because then you'll no longer be an energetic match for that, right? So then you have to get into a space where you want to come up with some new situations. You want to manifest new things, right? And you have to become this energetic match to then what you want to bring in. Okay. And it's a feeling, you might feel like empty after all of this, right? I guess that's really the right word that I'm looking for, is you're feeling empty, maybe, right? Because this has always defined you. This is who you've been, right? But that doesn't mean that that's who you have to be forever. So this is really about redefining yourself, right? So you start to challenge that belief. Well, what if it can happen for me? And really allow yourself to sit with that energy of, how would that feel if it did happen, right? If you could grab the opportunity and start to make things happen in your life, how would you feel? If you're reveling in that energy, it's going to help you to draw that in as well. And so I think that by the end of the year, you'll be shifting in a big way in terms of self-love, really making a significant impact on how you see yourself in the role that you play in others' lives and the role that you play in co-creating the life that you want and the life that you know that you deserve. So beautiful read here for you, Sag. I do so hope this resonates. As always, I will be back with another read for you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Take care.